How you doing? Happy Friday. This is your hostess with the mostest, Donna Smith, aka Lady D. I'm here with some afternoon thoughts for you. Haven't been able to do afternoon thoughts in a minute, but I'm here with some fresh afternoon thoughts. It's been what I call an interesting day. Sorry, it's been an interesting day, and I have taken a moment to connect with you because that's what I do. And first of all, I'm happy it's Friday. For those who have had a long week, I my days seem to have been running into each other because I have still been off. So I sometimes get lost in the week. Today's Thursday, no, today's Wednesday, no, today's Friday. But anyway, trying to get things better, trying to do better, and I'm definitely seeing some progress along the way with trying these different medications and stuff like that. And let me tell you, I hate taking all these different medications, but you got to do what you got to do to help along the way. So anyway, one of the thoughts I had this afternoon was, when you sit and you wait, you wait, and you wait, and you wait a while. You meet somebody and you guys are kicking and it's cool, it's wonderful, and you want to wait until you do the clap. You want to put the clap on hold, you want to wait because you feel as though rushing it may cause some things to just, not be right. So you want to take your time. You want to take that time, right? So you end up waiting and waiting and waiting, and then all of a sudden that right time seems to come. It's like, okay, I think this is it. I think I can go there. Let me try this. And you end up going there and you become big time disappointed. Just big time disappointed. Just slam dunk disappointed. It's like, oh my God, I waited 100 years for this, and it's the worst. It is the absolute worst. And just think of those who actually wait until they get married, which I ain't gonna say that's a bad thing. It's a good thing if you can to hold out and wait until marriage. It's a good thing. But to do that and then you find out that, the person that you are finally connecting with on that level is just not working. It's a sour puss. Just a sour puss. You know what I mean? And so what do you do? How do you deal with that? Now they say that the mind is connected with the physical, and if done right, if the mental is correct, then the physical is going to all come together. So therefore, if you have a situation where your physical is a sourpuss, it's just a straight up sourpuss, and all of a sudden you go there and you find that out, but your mental is connected, then things should be okay, right? Help me out, y'all. Help me out. Things should be okay. Do you think so? Can they be okay? Is the mental that deep and that strong? Should it be that it does not matter if it's all bad because everything else is connected? And see, that's another thing. That's why it's so important for us to connect on levels that go way, way beyond the physical. Connect on the mental, the heart, the spiritual. Be friends first. Do all these things that matter outside the physical so that if the physical ends up being a sourpuss, you know, then you got other legs to stand on to help you work that out. But let's go back to this. Rewind. If the mental is stimulated in a great way, where you're connected in that way, the clap is going to be wonderful. It's going to be fabulous, right? It's going to be fabulous because you've connected here and here first. So then all that other stuff just becomes even more fantastic, right? And if you are struggling with some issues with it, say for instance, you know, the woman is rigid. She's rigid. And when I say rigid, I mean she's dealing with some issues because some people have some past issues. They could have been abused or excuse me, their last relationship, they may have been taken advantage of in that way. Um, they could have been raped. It could be a lot of reasons why it is affecting them to have a healthy um, physical relationship moving forward. They could be struggling with some things. Men too, because men have been through those type of things too. So you could be struggling with that, and then it causes you moving forward to feel some kind of way with your new mate. It's not them. It's not them. It's just a block that you have because you have not healed from where you come from. Excuse me, you guys. So, therefore they're struggling. They're struggling with some things, and it can turn out to affect your physical bonding moving forward. Same with a man. So, what do you do? What do you do? You've waited. I know somebody who said they waited a year. They waited a year. They were dating this person, and it they were asked to, the person said, "Will you marry me?" After a year, no physical bonding within that whole year. They was trying to do it the right way. They was trying to wait. um they were trying to you know enhance their spiritual walk and growth together, do things in the right way. So they decided, okay, we're going to wait on this physical thing, and wait until we are married. So after a year, the guy asked the lady to marry him. She accepted. And they went on and did something pretty quickly. Went to, I don't know, they said Vegas, Reno, somewhere they went. And they got married. Came on back, and before they got back, they went on and did the thing. And they felt good about how they were doing it because they were now husband and wife. Turned out it was the worst that she ever experienced. The worst. And it was not a good connection on the physical. The package was extremely small. I was talking to someone back and forth. We was chatting on a previous video I did regarding what if he's too small or what if he's too large. And one of the gentlemen made a comment that, in this society, the norm, women are looking for these larger packages, but realistically, a man being the size of 5, 5.5 is usually a normal size range. I'm not sure what normal size range is. I believe normal is what works for the individual. Okay, because one person could say 5 is like itty bitty, itty bitty bitty, and then somebody can say 9 is like perfect. I don't want anything less than 9. So it just really depends on the individual. So I'll just leave that there. But she was saying in this case that it was any bitty mini mini. I don't know how many inches that was, but it was little, and they just didn't have a great skill set in doing what they needed to do. And perhaps it was because, of the long wait, the first time or two. I don't know. Seem like you would be really relaxed. You knowing that you're married, you're not, morally you're doing it the right way. And this is your mate for life, and seem like you would just take your time and want to enjoy one another in the best way that you could. That's how I would think it would be. But I could see after a year waiting, and then all of a sudden, bam, something happens. It's gonna be a challenge probably the first time, especially with somebody that you've never been with before. So she said it was the worst she's ever had. It started their course off in the physical realm, very challenging. They had other things that was a great connection. That they had become friends. They had become spiritually connected. They had become really attached with one another in a positive way. But on the physical level, it was no. So they had a hard time. She had a hard time. Things went on. They tried. It didn't get better in that way physically. It just didn't get better. It just they just didn't have a connect. You ever have a situation where you just don't connect with someone physically? Everything else, the dots connect, but everything else is right, and then the physical thing is like, oh, it's just like somebody that everything else is on point, and then you try to go travel with them. Let's go traveling together, and you find out that's the worst person in the world to travel with. Oh my God. I cannot travel with them. They complained about everything. They just was a lump on a bump. It just wasn't cute. Some people you just cannot travel with. So is that the same thing with the physical? I the situation with them getting married and everything else was connected. I just find that hard to really um take in, that you can't work through that. You can't work through the physical and get on the same page of fulfilling one another in that way, because everything else is gravy. Is I don't understand that, but they end up not being together anymore based on that. you know, she didn't want to be in a situation where she was tempted to cheat. He didn't want to be in a situation where he was tempted to cheat. Because what happened is they kind of stopped clapping. They stopped the clapping because it just didn't work out. And I don't know if they just didn't want to work with each other in that way. I mean, this was a mature couple. They were in their, one was in the late 40s, one was in the early 50s. So they were not a young couple. They were midlife. And it just didn't work out with them. I wish them the best. If you're watching this, I wish you the best, as far as your endeavors moving forward. But it's sad that you couldn't work that out. So, you guys, what do you think? If you've waited and you've tried to do the right thing, you've waited, whether you waited for matrimony, which is the best way to do it, or you just waited for a while. Some people are into just seeing what we're working with first. They're not into rushing the clap. It's like, well, let's see what we're working with. Let's see where this is going. Perhaps you come from a background or a past situation of relationships or so, that you rushed into things. You went from one thing to another, one thing to another, and you just always rushed into the sack with someone. You just rushed it, and no limits, no let me wait. It's just when we felt like doing it, we grown, we gonna do it. And sometimes that was the second date, sometimes it's the first date, sometimes it's the first time meeting them. Some people just do what they do, and you may have had a couple of times of that type of experience and then realize that I'm doing too much. Perhaps if I change up how I get down, then I can find out the true character of a person before giving myself totally in that way, and then find out that I struck out again. So you decide moving forward, okay, best way to do this is to wait. I'm going to wait. I'm not going to jump into the sack. I'm going to give it time. We got to date a little bit. We got to get to know each other. We got to be on a whole different plane. And you find yourself doing that. You didn't talk about marriage at this point. It ain't no marriage thing going on. It's just, I'm going to wait. So perhaps without giving yourself a time clock, 6 months have went by. 6 months. Some people will say, 6 months? I ain't waiting no 6 months to get no tail. She must be crazy, girl. Bye, 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 boy, bye. Not no 6 months. Nope. No, no, no. Some will say that. But what if you just decided, okay, 6 months went by and it's like, wow, okay, it's been 6 months. Um, Now I can see what it do. And a situation occurs where the time was right and you end up going on and doing it. And you become disappointed. Tremendously so. Just tremendously so. What do you do? You like this person. You like each other. You're feeling each other. You're connected to each other. But the clap is not great. Now, it depends on how much value you put on your connections and relationships as far as the clap is concerned. Because some people don't, that's just a little piece of the pie, just a little bit. That's not going to be something that is going to make or break the relationship because they're looking for a lot of other qualities and things in a person um, that go beyond that, right? They're looking for more. I hope I got this volume up a little bit. Okay, there we go. So they're looking for more, right? So it's not a big deal. But most are looking for some type of satisfaction in that area, especially those who's looking for a marriage moving forward. You want that connection. You want to be able, because what I mean, you're talking about the rest of your life, you guys. You're talking about being with somebody for the rest of your life. So you have got to be able to be satisfied with that and not be put in a temptation mode of wanting to seek something that you feel you're missing, wanting to get with someone other than who you are actually with, right? So you want that type of connection. But what we're trying to find out here is what exactly do you do or how do you do this when you have waited and you've tried to do it the best way and trying to wait until you can get the right one for you. And then you're just, you know, you're just slam dunked with, oh my God, this is the worst. Excuse me, you guys. Okay, it's like, okay, so what do you do? What the heck do you do? How important is the clap to you? How important is it? You know, and another, back to something with the other video, how important is size? How important is that? I was going back and forth with the comments in that last video, and I'm like, some are just really tripped out about the size. They just really have got to have the size in coming, with a man. The man has to be of a certain size. And this one guy was like, no, it shouldn't even be about that. And women saying that, okay, if a brother is too big, if he's too big, you guys, it never fails. Always get always get me a doggone call in the middle of the video. Okay. Sorry about that. um, you know, One brother was saying, well, if it's the size and if it's too big, it's always these comments about a man does not know how to handle the girth. He does not know how to handle that size, and it becomes an issue, and he's doing too much, and and that's not true because there's some men who are really, really endowed and they have no problem with knowing how to handle that with any woman that they be with, whether she's small or medium or big. They know how their technique and their skill is so cool that they know how to finesse through that, you know. And then there's some that just get so excited that they forget that they're so large and they just roar like a bulldozer, and that becomes a problem. But on the average, like I said, who knows? Who knows what's too small? Too small could be different for you, me, or somebody else. It depends on the woman. And I don't think no man should feel bad about whatever size he is. Do we get tape measures? Do we get rulers? Half the time, no. Um, does that make the man? Does that determine who he is, what he's about, how he makes love, how he claps? And no, has nothing to do with the size. Just like a woman that's large in size, heavy, or a man that's heavy, set, or whatever, it has nothing to do with this, the heart, based on your size. Now, as far as your health is concerned, it's probably a good thing to get some of the weight off, and work together with your mate if you have to. But as far as the character of a person, has nothing to do with because of the size that they are physically, right? But some will judge that. Bigger men or bigger women, get less dates, they say. You know? Smaller women get more dates, but there's a lot of men who's looking for women with some kind of cush, especially since it's been in the 30s and cold outside, and some women want their men to be, want him to have some fluff so they can curl up next to him in that bed and everything else, right? So everybody has their own little way of wanting things, and we have to keep that in mind. But at the end of the day, and another thing I was talking to somebody about yesterday regarding, you know, wanting to get with somebody based on material things and what they have and six figures, credit scores, and assets, a home, a nice car or two, a boat, whatever the situation, money in the bank. People who pick folks to be significant in their lives based on substance, it's not going to win in the end, because I'm going to tell you, materialistic things, substance things, money, status, all that can be changed with the blink of an eye. You can be way up here today and way down here tomorrow. It just takes one flip of the switch and things can change. So therefore, you can't base choosing someone on they got to make six figures. I think somebody was saying, well, I'm only going to date somebody that makes six figures or more, or they have to have a credit score of almost 800, and they have to have a home, and they have to have a car or two, and perhaps a yacht or whatever. They go on and on about what this person needs to have. And girl, check this out. They may have that today and may not have none of that tomorrow. And men too. You get with these women because of all this stuff they have. What if something happens and they get into a bad accident, or they can't work no more, or they have a stroke or a heart attack, or become sick with some debilitating sick illness or whatever? That's going to change. Things are going to change. So why are you getting with someone because of what they have? It's the quality, it's the what do I want to say, the character of the person that matters, the heart condition, the mind, your connection, your friendship, that spiritual thing. It's all those other things that matter that you can't take from a person, because that's who they are. That's uniquely who they are. So I'd rather have someone who is uniquely who they are than someone who has all these things. I know someone who was dating a gentleman for quite a few years. They go way back, and that gentleman had money and had a nice status, and they was taking care of them as they got ill and being with them and being in a corner. Well, when they finally passed away, they didn't have them on nothing. They wasn't a beneficiary. Their sister was. They didn't have them on nothing. They didn't leave them no monetary thing. They didn't leave them no material things. They didn't leave them nothing. Nothing. And they were there doing all that thinking that, yeah, something happened to them. I'm going to have. It don't always work out like that, y'all. So don't get with somebody based on what they have, okay? Get with them for the character of the person that they are. And if you do wait, if you are in a mindset to want to wait before you do the clap with someone, don't base it on it not working out when you first do it or second do it or third do it because they wasn't big enough or because it didn't really jive right. But you guys got everything else in it. You're going to pass up a good thing, a good opportunity to have a lifetime wonderful mate because you guys both just need to work together on making that clap better. Okay? If you wait until marriage, which is a good thing to do, if you wait and say, I'm going to wait, I know I'm going to be with this person forever, we're going to take our time, we're going to wait and it turns out to be a fluke the first time or two, so what? Work on it. Your husband and wife. You guys are going to be together forever. Learn some new tricks. Get some books. Watch some movies. Go to the little frilly store. Do whatever you got to do to make it better for you and boo boo. Period. Just period. Okay? So that's the messages, afternoon thoughts of the day. Y'all, I got to go. Got to go. I want everybody to have a wonderful weekend, a wonderful rest of your day. Thanks for those who chimed in. Remember, like, share, and subscribe. Hit the bell so you'll be notified when I do come off with these thoughts and these grown folk topics. I'll be at you guys tomorrow. Have a great day. Be safe and stay warm. Okay? See you later.